I always knew that I wanted to do something, to be known for something good. I didn't just come to the world to just be ordinary or to just be mediocre.
Oh my God.
I was the first Arewa lady that had a cooking show on national television in Nigeria. Do you know how many northern Arewa food bloggers have sprung up after 3 years after that? We have like almost 100.
This is the HSM TribeCast. Tune in to hear Muslim women talking back like never before.
Hi guys, Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the High Street Muslima TribeCast, the podcast by Muslim women for Muslim women. My name is Khadija. Today's episode I'm so excited about as a Lagos woman or a Lagos babe. All things hustle, bustle, just, attacking life and making the most of the situations that you find yourself. I have a really exciting guest with me. A TV cook, show host, a nutrition specialist. She is always cooking something, whether it is food or something more scandalous, as the case may be. Welcome, Jamila.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have you because I always follow the Maggie Diaries, your recipes and cook shows and all that. So to finally be sitting and having this conversation, I'm excited.
Alhamdulillah, I'm excited as well. So yeah, when you reached out, I was like, I think this is something I really would like to do. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, we always start with an icebreaker.
Okay.
2 truths and 1 lie about our guests. So yeah, let's hear it.
You guys are going to catch me because I don't know how to lie.
I hope.
Okay, so 2 truths and a lie. So, okay, 1, I love snakes. Like, I can go out of my way to, look for species and varieties of snakes. 2, I cook 3 times every day. I love cooking. And 3, I'm a chronic introvert. I love solitude.
Yeah. Just because I'm looking for a body and I'm an introvert, so I don't. Yeah, I think you're probably an introvert. I don't know if you're being sarcastic or not about loving to cook 3 times a day, but it just seems very, very weird for someone to go out of their way to love snakes. So I'm going to say that's a lie.
Oh, that's a lie.
That's things that occurring. I feel like there's someone somewhere whose hobby
God, please,
is looking for.
I don't even want to meet that person. I can't even look at a picture of a reptile. Is that bad?
No. I can't. So I've probably only seen snakes from when we go to the zoos. And how many times have I been to the zoo? Growing up, then there was the zoo in UI, University of Ibadan, and then traveled one time like that and got to go to a zoo. Snakes are not my...
No.
Yeah, no. So, wow, you love to cook 3 times a day. What did you cook for breakfast today?
So I had boiled eggs. It doesn't have to be anything complicated. I had boiled eggs.
Underwhelmed.
Really? I had boiled eggs and I made the special chai tea. I mean, anybody that knows me knows I'm obsessed with tea. So I made the special.
I have to try. No, yes. I have to try. Because you know the funny thing, I'm not a tea person, but I think I'm hooked on this. They call it buzu.
Oh, okay, that's a regular, northern Arewa tea. You have spices.
Everybody has their own basil and their own mix.
Yeah.
Now, I find myself wanting to try.
So try this. Yes, okay, right.
Yeah, I know there's just different. I think apart from that, also I'm a fan of a masala chai. I like all those spices and all that. But yeah, so you're promising your head.
I mean,
you're going to treat me to
see. The easiest thing I thought of what's life without tea? If I'm one person that will say, let's come over to my place, let's do tea. So people are looking at me weird, and I'm like, so let's just come to my place. Let's do tea, or let's hang out for tea. Or so that is you will find me saying that all the time. Yeah.
Oh, nice. So I have a feeling that there is just so much more to Jamila. I feel like the Jamila that a lot of people know and that I probably also know is the Jamila who's in front of the camera on your screens, whether it's TV or your phones, and she's cooking up a storm. But tell us a bit more about you. How did you get to that, finding cooking as a passion? And is that all there is to Jamila, or is there more?
Okay, thank you for the question. Very interesting. There's so much more to Jamila beyond all of the cooking. And I told people look, just forget what you see on social media because, people there's so much more going on, like behind social media. So yeah, so there's there's a lot more to me. So with cooking, it was something that I always loved doing, growing up. And the first of four girls.
never loved cooking growing
Yeah, I loved cooking. I was just one of those kids that grew up loving to cook. I was the first of four girls.
Oh, wow.
And so by the time I was age 8, I was already like in the kitchen with my mom. And I think I just really appreciate the fact that she allowed me to feel like I was responsible enough to be able to do those things. I'll never forget the first time my mom was like, she was on her bed in the evening and she was like, go to the kitchen and go and mix puff puff. Yeah, go and mix the yeast for puff puff. And I'd never done this thing before. I cannot even remember how she did it, but she just told me casually, and I can tell you that maybe I was around 7, 8, but I couldn't have been much more than 8 years old.
Yeah.
And then I went to the kitchen and I mixed the yeast with warm water, added sugar, and covered it. And I left thinking
That was
yes, in the morning we'll now put the flour. And so when she came early hours of the morning, she was like, you didn't, this is how to mix it, you didn't put the flour. But she didn't scold me.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? She didn't scold me. She just said, you should have mixed it together with the flour. So that's how to do it. But so I love the fact that she gave me that confidence boost to say, I could do this. And so I experimented with everything experimentable in the house. Like my younger sisters, they eat all sorts of things. They eat even amala cookies. Just leave me in the kitchen and I was cooking up stuff. But nobody stopped me. Nobody ever stopped me like, no, don't do this. Or,
I'm trying to, I'm trying to imagine, like in Nigeria of today's economy, I wonder if they would have been so lenient.
No, you
allowing you
can't. You're not
experiment.
allowed.
Like,
I mean,
you
to
just take
waste
my eggs,
gas,
flour today.
electricity,
I make
exactly,
amala
and just
cookies.
mama cookies. When my mom goes to work and my parents are at work and holidays, I was, cooking up different. So yeah, I always enjoyed, like cooking. I think up till now, I still tell people I think I enjoy more the creative aspect of cooking than just the cooking. I love the arts that is cooking. I love arts, generally.
Presenting.
Yes, I love the art
Of new ways
of cooking it, of putting it together, and just see what comes out of it. I think I just love the creativity, not much about eating it. And so yeah, that was just something that I loved to do, and I didn't even think that I was going to make a living out of it or some kind of career out of it. Yeah. And then for TV or something, it was not something that. It's something that I loved as a kid. So these are some of the things that I did as a kid. I would be by myself in the bedroom and I'll pick up a paper and I'm reading like I'm reading. Yes, like one of those newscasters.
Did your parents used to watch
at
NTA?
that time?
Yeah,
of course. Yeah. So I would go and I'm reading and I'm like reading and looking at the camera and I'm doing that. And I will never forget, I used to do that a lot. And I loved to read out loud in class. English language was my favorite subject.
Same here.
Ask anyone, read. Everybody's shining away. I'm raising my hand. I wanted to read. I wanted to present on TV so bad. So I always did that. As a child. So growing up, of course you grow up and then, the society tells you the things that you're supposed to do, your parents and everything. And sometimes we forget the things that we really thought about doing.
What did they want you to become? So what did you think you would become?
I wanted to study mass communication. I wanted to be in the arts.
Because you were already...
I wanted to be in the arts. I knew that I was going to thrive there anyway, but my dad wanted me to do the sciences. And he was like, no, you know about science. You know it very well. You know science and arts. So just go to science class. I'm like, okay. But, I thrived better in the arts. But I did well in science as well. I knew he used to say to me, you know everything, so just go and do science. So he wanted me to do science. I wanted to be a pharmacist. But, it didn't work out that way. I went into school. I will never forget the first day I got into school, my first year in university, and I saw a teacher, my English teacher, when I was in SS1 or something. And when he saw me, he was like, you just got it? I said, yeah, I'm doing my registration. And he was like, what are you studying? English?
Oh, I thought he just assumed.
I said, no. He said, why? I'm like, this way I am. But, and you see, Allah there's a purpose for everything. And in the end, you always find that everything aligns for your own good. So I didn't study, the arts, but whenever I pass the drama department or something, I just feel this is where I'm supposed to be. Yeah. So along the way, I studied biochemistry. That was my first degree. And when it came time that I wanted to do, my master's degree, I knew that I wanted to do something that had to do with, and again, I forgot, I loved healthy living, healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with it. And people in school knew that, I was a person to come to. If I have a cold, I'm like, oh no, have you had lemon tea?
Mix
Do
this
lemon and
and this.
honey. So those kind of, yeah, So I love that naturalistic, holistic kind of, living and health and just caring with nature. It was just always something that was a part of me. Ever since just growing up, I always remember that I used to do all of those kind of things, and I loved to read those kind of things as well. And so when it came to, like, I was like, I'm doing my MSc in nutrition. I'm doing it in nutrition because this is what I love, And so yeah, so I did
Oh, nice. So where the content, how did you
It's a
stumble
long
into content
story.
creation?
Yes. So with content creation, so content creation didn't just, it happened to me. I didn't go out seeking to start doing like food content. In fact, I started off creating a TV series, right? So, I was at the point where I was like trying to really understand who I was, finding my purpose, and, and I'm trying to just align all of the things that I really love to do, trying to understand myself. I know this is what I'm passionate about. Of course, I love food. I always wanted to do TV, and I love to teach, and I love this my nutrition that I'm, studying. So how do I tie all of this together? And I decided, you know what, this dream of mine of doing TV, I need to do something about it. And then I started doing my research and everything. And maybe you may ask some follow-up questions later on because it's a long story. And I started doing my research about what it was like to produce, like content for TV. And I did a lot of research, asked questions, and then I came up with like a TV series called Jamila's Kitchen Diaries. And so that was what birthed the Jamila's Diary at first, and then Maggie Diaries followed. So where there was cooking, I was talking about the health benefits of foods that we're eating and foods in the north, and then just generally talking about lifestyle and everything. And so that was how I ventured into content creation and television. And so I did that. I did a couple of episodes, and then I went out looking for brands to partner with. Like, this is what I'm doing. This is what I did. I'm from the north, blah, blah, blah. And because it's not enough to just do that, you have to make money. So how do you make money? And so
that's so important. So this whole process from like starting something you were passionate about and like creating it for yourself, and then eventually looking to buy into that. What was the experience like? Because I have a feeling that before we got to this age where people are a bit more like understanding value of content, they didn't used to take them seriously. It's like, oh, okay, like you're presenting this, oh, I've done this is the concept, this is the number of views I have. But it's like, oh, okay, what corporate experience do you have? Like, what business experience do you have? Did you ever have that kind of feedback, or were we advanced enough?
No. For me, it wasn't even about, I didn't even put it on platforms yet. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
I wanted them to see and buy into it. You get what I mean? So I'm like, this is what I have. And it was different. It was something different coming from here. At the time when I started, food content and all of that, there was nobody from Arewa doing it. I mean, like, I would say I was the first Arewa lady that had a cooking show on national television in Nigeria.
Breaking
right?
barriers.
Yes. I was the first northern person that had a cooking show that was on national TV. And so when I came up with that, like the idea and everything, and I was reaching out to brands, and I got a lot of no's. I got a lot of, oh, not yet. Oh, okay, just start. Let it just be on the different, stations, and then see it, and then maybe later I would, And then if out of 100 no's, there's a one yes, and then the one yes would come and say, you know what, this is so unique. This is awesome. Oh my goodness, there's something like this exists from northern Nigeria. I've been looking
What kept you going with all the no's?
I just knew that something was there's no way that I would put in all of this work. I didn't just wake up and say I wanted to just do something. There was a lot of meditation. There was a lot of prayers. I mean, like, there was a lot of seeking Allah's face. Like, yeah, Allah, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
This is what I should be doing, like guide me. And then I'm writing out all of these thoughts. And as I'm
So it was like it was the conviction.
There's a
but you had also
conviction.
done the work.
Yes, and there's conviction, and then there's doing the work. It's not enough to just say, "Oh, I want to do something." You have to also, I mean, like for me, faith is the biggest thing. Is the biggest thing. You have to seek the face of Allah in everything that you're doing. And so at that point, and this is what I want to do. Like, yeah, Allah, show me, should I be doing this? And even when you don't even know which way to go, He makes a way.
Yeah.
He makes a way. I don't think I had, how much did I didn't have anything. I always tell people, like, look, don't think that you have to wait for money. You have to have the money to do something. When you are doing something that it's in line with the purpose of what your creator wants you to do, He will put everything your way. He will align everything your way to make sure that that thing is achieved. Okay? And so for me, that was it. It was always, I didn't just set up that I wanted to do this. I didn't have nothing when I decided I was going to do this, but Allah made a way. At every point, He's making a way. He's putting me in circumstances, situations that are aligned with achieving that dream and that purpose. And so for me, when you have all of that, you know that it's not just about you. It's beyond that. And so when you look at Maggie Diaries, then you started with Jamila's Diary and then the name was changed. We didn't have anybody else doing anything like that. But do you know how many Northern Arewa food bloggers have sprung up after like 3 years after that? We have like almost 100. You get what I mean? So this is beyond you. Or the people that came on board, during that work and all of that, during the whole, TV show, the Maggie, there's other Northern influencers that you inspired or you brought on board.
Yeah.
It's beyond you. And I remember there's a prayer I used to make then, there's a dua I used to make then. I was like, Ya Allah, use me. Show me how to take who I am, who I want to be, and what I can do, and use it for a purpose greater than myself.
Oh.
Yeah. And so even in times of challenges, I look back and say, it wasn't just because of me, there are others. And even when things are low or things go, but look back and then alhamdulillah.
See how far you've come.
Yeah, alhamdulillah, see how far others have come as well.
Wow. And that's a very interesting point. And I know we were talking about it earlier, is how it's not just about you or the now, but it's also what comes after and what that means for, the people coming behind. I think that sometimes when you are so convinced and, you believe in yourself, not a lot of people actually around you can also sort of see that vision, the way that you see it, right? So how do you sort of rise above that? You already talked about it, conviction, praying to Allah and all of that. But how do you sort of damn whatever
It's always going to be noise.
Whatever.
Whatever you're doing,
silence
yeah,
that noise,
and
just because I can imagine people were probably looking at you then and wondering, like, what's this person doing? Like, your mates are going to school, getting jobs, getting like,
even from home, even my mother, like, she's wasting her time. You get what I mean? Like, you have all of this, you went to school, you did this, you have your master's degree, you speak, several languages. Like, what are you doing?
Oh, interesting. So, to digress, what languages?
Yeah, so, I mean, I speak, of course, we're speaking English.
Yeah.
I speak very fluent French, very fluent, right? Speaking, yeah.
I like to call my French broken French.
I speak Hausa, of course, I speak Ibira. I do understand Yoruba, like you can't tell me. I can communicate, in Yoruba. Arabic is rusty right now, but I understand Arabic.
Oh,
yeah. Yes, I need to go back.
So I can imagine that's kind of coming from your own mother. Like, for some people, I think it's enough to break you.
Yeah, yes. So there are a lot of things that at some point I'm like, I don't even need to let her know because the thing is that even when you're able to say, when people say negative things or people are saying no, and you think that, oh, you know what, I can rise above it, it's nothing. It still has a way of dampening your spirit. And so for me, what I do is that it's not everything that I'm going to do or that I plan to do that I say out.
Okay.
Because you need to protect your energy. I think especially when you're starting something, for me, it should be, I'm not saying keep it a secret, but there's a stage. In the first stage, it should be a communication that is just going on between you and your creator. Okay. And then, because whatever is good, Allah protects it. He covers it. You're pregnant. Nobody sees the baby. Unique things are shrouded. You get what I mean? And so there's a stage where this thing
quote.
is there. So this thing is still in communication with me and Allah. So nobody needs to know yet. You get what I mean? And so there are times where by the time you know that, okay, like we're good to go, you can start sharing and then share with people who would give, because sometimes you need constructive criticism.
Yeah.
And people who really love you, who have they have nothing to
No
gain from it,
interest,
no interest, and then surround yourself with a positive cycle and people who can also push you, encourage you,
your tribe,
support you, and also be able to take constructive criticism. I mean, criticism should be constructive, not destructive. People think, I'll tell you the truth, take it or leave it. No, if you criticize someone, the person should leave feeling better than they came. So when the person feels better, it's constructive. But when you make the person feel bad, it's destructive criticism.
Yeah.
And that's one of the worst things that can affect human beings, that even can lead to failure in adult life for humans, because people are criticizing them negatively and nobody wants to be seen as a fool. And so the more you criticize somebody negatively, the more they feel like, they resent you and may even end up doing the opposite because they're trying to prove a point. And so definitely there'll always be the naysayers. There'll always be people like, what is she doing? What is she trying to show? Does she think she's going to succeed with that? You have to believe in yourself. If you do not believe in yourself, nobody is going to believe in you. Nobody.
Yeah.
You have to believe in yourself. You have to have that conviction, and you've got to also do the work. Because without doing the work, where is the confidence going to come from?
Yeah.
If you're acting confident, it's just a facade. It's fake. Once anybody digs deep, you will break.
Exactly.
You get what I mean? So you have to have done the work, have faith, and believe in yourself. If you do not believe in yourself, nobody's going to believe in you. Even when I went to Lagos, they're like, are you sure you're really from the north? I'm like, yeah, I'm from the north.
Thank you for bringing that up, because that's where I was coming to.
Yeah.
So when you talk about, the people who are looking, and sometimes I wonder, I mean, people will always be people.
Yeah.
But I also wonder, is it a thing of the social construct? Because I like to say that when I'm in Lagos, I feel there's this energy that you feel in the air. Everybody is moving. There's this fast pace to life and all of that. And I feel it right from the airport. The air hits you. And then it's the opposite. When I come into Abuja, like I step out and I just feel at peace, which is a good thing. And then, I enjoy it for a moment until my body starts itching.
Like, what am I doing?
It's so slow. Why are people not awake by like 8 or 9?
Yeah.
I don't think Lagos ever sleeps. No. But like you're waiting for someone who's rendering a service to you, and by 9 it's like
there's
like this. I feel like there's this mentality of, is it your father's work?
Yes, there's just laid back, Yeah.
Yeah. So is it like how? And that's the question in terms of, when you're there and people wondering, are you sure you're from the north? So what do you think was different? Because you said you grew up in north. You've always been in north.
I was born in Kano State. I grew up in Kaduna.
So was there some different factors? What was it in your own like sort of experience here that instills that I want to do something mentality from the onset?
So yeah. So for me, growing up, I grew up with a mom who worked. My mom worked a 9 to 5. I grew up seeing my mom go to work. My dad would drive her in the morning. We're very little then. He drop her off at work, and then when he closes. He's a pharmacist, and then he picks her up from work, and then they come back home together. Then aside work, my mom also was doing businesses, and so she wasn't just dependent on her salary alone. She was always doing one or two things. And so I think growing up and seeing that, we just knew naturally that
it was a representation.
Yes, it was a representation, and then I used to hear stories of my grandmother. My grandfather was a very wealthy man, and she supported him. Amongst his wives, he trusted her to construct buildings and estates, and then she goes and goes to other states and makes sure that the job was done. And so that was something I grew up hearing. Like my grandfather was very wealthy. My grandmother goes there, he handles his businesses, and he had a little voice. And so I think growing up hearing that, you don't even know how it impacts the child. It's in their subconscious that they are from a family of hardworking people. And so I think, yeah, that was, I'm just really thinking about it right now.
Yeah.
Like that's
I mean, I
really,
was reflecting as you were talking because it's also something that I can relate to, and it's that thing about representation. Like my grandmother on both sides. So on my paternal side, my grandmother sold things like even pap. Like she was industrious, she was in doing things. On the maternal side, she traded across states. My mom has done, oh my God, I feel like my mom has done every single thing on available to do.
Yes.
Like she's sold food, she's like traded jewelry material, she's worked in hospitality in hotels, and then crossed over to oil and gas. So like I've just seen that, and I agree, like it does something for you.
Yeah, it does.
Growing up, seeing that and just knowing that first of all it's possible. So you then figure, okay, how am I going to go about?
Yeah.
But there's a thin line, I think, between that energy, that constant hunger for success and hustle culture. So like hustle culture thrives on, just work hard, exhaustion, burnout are markers of success, which really shouldn't be. So like what's that fine line? How have you been able to manage that in between? Like I'm going to put in the energy because I want more, but at the same time I don't want to come across as a hustler in the loose sense of the word, or just be doing things for the sake of doing it. How do you like create that balance?
Yeah. So for me, I think for everyone, you have to be able to define what success means to you. I think if you're able to define that, you'll be able to know what your limits are. And so for me, success doesn't necessarily mean hustling to have plenty money. I mean, it's okay. For some people, that is their dream in life, is that I want to have plenty money.
But it's never going to be enough.
No, but seriously, if that's your dream, like go ahead and live it. Some people want to have plenty buildings everywhere. Like this is my house, this is my house. It's fine, honestly. You see, for me, peace of mind is the number one thing. Peace of mind is number. So what is success to you? What does success look like to you? I think that's where when you have to define that for yourself. Some people, success, as long as they get what they want, they don't mind if they're deprived of peace, of sleep, of rest. If you know me, serenity and peace are like my ultimate goals in life. Whatever I'm going to do that I would not get peace of mind out of it, I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
If I'm not going to find peace, I won't do it. And so for me, the hustle, trying to find a balance, it's just me doing the things that I know that I love to do and that I enjoy doing. I've broken them down into steps, right? As long as I'm working on them, I'm successful.
Nice.
You get what? So I'm not.
So it's not, it's to your own standard and being true to yourself.
Being true to myself. I'm not killing. I want to do these things. I always knew that I wanted to be successful in life. I always knew that I wanted to do something, to be known for something good, to be able to inspire other people. It's something that I always wanted to do. Even though I was a child and I didn't necessarily know where I was, which field I was going to be, but I knew that I always wanted to do something. I didn't just come to the world to just be ordinary or to just be mediocre.
Oh my God. You're just dropping this.
Yeah.
So the first one was uniqueness is always shrouded.
Yeah.
Now is I didn't come to this world to be ordinary.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I always knew, but at the same time, there's something, my peace of mind is very important. I have to drive, I want to do this, I need to study, I could even be doing 2 or 3 things, but I try to find a way to pace them. I need to have time to be able to have solitude. I told you I'm an introvert. I mean, my job makes me look like an extrovert, but I am very introverted. I love solitude so much to a fault. Everybody around me comes like, just be alone. Like, do you know what it is to just be able to be at home alone, sipping tea and no, seriously, like just relax, chill, looking at my plants around. I mean, that is bliss, And so yes, you have to. There must be a balance, which is very important. When you get to a stage when you're like burnout and all, you have to slow down. It's not going to run away from you just know that you are doing the work, you are taking the steps towards achieving that goal, that dream. As long as you are taking gradual steps, you will get there. I'm not in competition with anybody in this world. I'm in competition with my own self. I want to be better than who I was yesterday, right? Not with anybody. I don't care what anybody is doing. I could see what people are doing and even be inspired by them is fine. But not to be in competition with other people. This person has gotten, they have to get. No. I wasn't sent to the world to do the same thing as them. Like Allah has created you with your own unique gifts and talents. You have to tap into those gifts and then make the most of it. So not being in competition with others, I think also going to help you limit the hustle, the sleepless night. No, there's more to life. Look, I want to live. I don't just want to pass through. I really want to live. I really want to enjoy life. We're not going to be here forever. And you do all this hustle and then you grow old and you ask yourself, how did my past,
what did I
10, 20 years?
achieve? What was the point?
As I'm doing it, I want to be happy doing it. I want to be peaceful doing it. I want to enjoy the little things in life. I want to enjoy my tea. I want to enjoy my plants. I want to enjoy the sweet, fresh air. You get what I mean? Because life is going to happen one way or the other. Allah is going to test you. There will be times for that. Why not enjoy the time when those challenges aren't there?
Yeah.
And so for me, it's just try to find the balance. Understand what success means to you. Success for me is not amassing all of that wealth. It's in working towards my goals, taking one step at a time. I know what I want. I mean, in every area of my life, right?
Yeah.
In work, money, relationships, my spirituality with Allah, my family, and even for my health. So as long as I'm taking small steps towards achieving each of those set goals, I'm happy, I'm peaceful, and I'm successful. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Tests. Allah will always test us. Allah also says that He will not test us with a burden beyond what we can bear. And I think that for a lot of people, especially women, there's a tendency when that test comes, you react to is either it makes you stronger, even deeper in your faith, and even with more resolve, or it could, for some people, break them and completely derail them. So for you, I know that you have had your own fair share of tests.
Yeah.
But what would you say was so far for you? Which of those tests would you say really shook you and made you like pause? I'm going to try not to be able to put it like 2 points in one, but I really want to understand one moment where you felt like you hit rock bottom and how you were able to come back from that without it derailing you.
Yeah. So for me, I see trials are a part of life.
Yeah.
Okay. Allah has already said He's going to test us. We'll build a loss in life, property, the things that matter to you the most. And so I think rock bottom definitely is going to have to be divorce. I don't think anyone goes into marriage and thinking that, I'm going in there and I'm coming out. Yeah. To prove anything, especially when you have a child, because now it's not just about you. There's a human being, there's an innocent human that you've brought into the world who didn't ask to come to be in this situation. And as a mom, it's really difficult because of the love that Allah has placed between mother and child. And so you're not just thinking about yourself, you're thinking about the child and you want the best for the child, but sometimes the best is out of that situation. I think it was the most painful experience that I've ever had, that I ever had to go through. I pray that I don't have to go through any painful experience again, because Allah tests us, but we pray that for Allah to not try us or test us with situations that are beyond us. And so it was very painful, very hard. I looked at my child at the time and I'm like, you deserve better than this. And so it's okay. If Allah says it's okay for this to happen to us, then who am I to say no? So for me, for every challenge, I think it's about learning the lesson. It's not about regretting the situation. It's about what is there to learn. Okay, this thing has happened. And so for me, in all areas of life, it's not just about, when that happened, but in every area of my life, when things happen, I ask myself, I cry. When I need to cry, I cry. And I'm like, Ya Allah, why is this happening? But the next question is, what do I need to learn from this? What do I take from? Because if you don't take anything from it, it's going to be 2-0. You went through the pain. Yes, you went through the pain and you did not learn the lesson. And if you don't learn the lesson, it's going to come back to you. Until nobody came to this world knowing everything.
Yeah.
We are all work in progress until the day we depart this earth. So like I keep saying, every situation, even situations that are meant to break you, that didn't break you, you should grow from the situation. Because if you did not grow from it, it means that, what was it there for?
What was the
So
point?
you remain where you are. We should be seeking to evolve to be better than who we were yesterday. You are growing. Nobody came to this world knowing anything. You learn, you unlearn things, you go through certain challenges, situations, you learn lessons from them, and you grow to be better than who you were yesterday. And so every human should be seeking to be better than who they were yesterday. Every situation that comes your way that, hits you really hard, you should learn something from it. There's something to learn from it. And so for me, yeah, I hit rock bottom because it wasn't something I thought was ever going to happen to me.
Yeah.
And I had nowhere else to go. I had nowhere else to turn to but Allah. When you hit rock bottom, you don't have anywhere else to go, so you have to look up. Yeah. If you don't look up, you remain there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remain there, and then nothing happens at rock bottom. And so, but going through that pain, nights where you didn't sleep, nights where I'm crying and I'm asking Ya Allah, okay, I came into this, I sought your face, and you guided me here, and now I'm at this point. What am I going to do? What am I supposed to do? Am I taking the right step? And even through pain, there's beauty. There's beauty because it's just really in realizing that Allah listens. He hears everything that you say to him, and he's there for you. And so for me, it just really deepened my faith in Allah because he brought me out of such a, it was a very painful experience. And it's like he held my hands through it. It didn't come easy. Life was not a bed of roses even after it, but I knew that it was the right thing to do for myself and my son, and we moved on with our lives. But with God on our side, he held my hands through that difficult situation. And so my faith in him strengthened my faith in Allah. Like, there's nothing you want to tell me. God wants it like this, then it's fine. Or a situation comes, like, it's in Allah's hands. Like, I've put anything that's going to make me cry, even if you can't even hurt me. If you hurt me and I go to bed and I can't sleep, I'm thinking about what you did. No. I'll just go perform ablution, do 2 rakah. Ya Allah, ease it. Ease it. I don't want to think. I don't want to see this person and feel bad.
Yeah. Just take it
away. I don't want to see this person and feel bad about it. I just want to be. You get what? So for me, that rock bottom made me just really go back again to Allah. I had nobody else to call but him.
When that happened, do you think it was additional? It gave you additional feel.
Oh yeah.
How you now approach.
Yes. Oh yes.
Everything.
Yes.
Like work and all of that. Like how?
Absolutely, it did, because you know what? I didn't have anybody else to depend on. So you see, you get married. Like, marriage is a covering.
Yeah.
When Allah says in the Quran that like, marriage is, you guys are garments over each other. It's really a covering.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's not easy for women in abusive marriages to leave the marriage, because it's like, how am I going to leave this? Because it's like you're throwing them out and they're going to be naked. That's how it feels, right? Now, you're from your parents' home, you're covered, you move into marriage, there's still there's this covering. That's why there's a continuity of the covering. And now you're out. You feel almost like you're naked. There's no covering. But you need to know that. So my thinking, because I do a lot of deep reflection and thinking. I'm a thinker, right? And I'm like, if Allah says he's my provider, Allah is the coverer, why am I so afraid that a human being's cover has left me and I'm now naked?
Yeah.
Allah gave him that power, but he can take it away from him as well. So he's the overall coverer. And so he's going to cover me, right? So I won't be afraid, because Allah's covering is sufficient for me. And so that was my thinking at the time that helped me to, like, navigate through the whole, I'm out. How is it going to be? Like, you're panicking. And so, like, I understand for a lot of women, and if there's any woman going through this right now and you're feeling like, oh, you're just naked, you're torn. How am I going to survive? How is it going to be? Remember that Allah, if it's, the man is the one that is to provide and everything.
And for some people, it's
Yes.
not just for marriage or divorce.
Yeah.
For some people, they're people that their parents disown them.
Yeah.
There are people
So-
who lose
Yes.
children or a loved one. It could be any
It could be
situation.
anything. And so for me, it's like, don't be afraid, because you have God. He's the provider, he's the protector, he's the coverer. And if you're in a bad situation, Allah doesn't even want you to be in that bad situation in the first place. Get out.
Right.
And just have faith in him. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
And it's leading me to the next point, which is around that balance between, going full on for what you want.
Yeah.
And then the limits of your faith and what it
Yes.
would allow you to do.
Yeah.
For instance, even in the corporate world, want to go out there and earn some money, do your 9 to 5. But then there's the limitations, in interactions in the opposite sexes, in terms of the places that you can go to, in terms of the kinds of companies or the kinds of clients that you can relate with. There's all of that. So how do you sort of like do that while staying within the limits?
Yes. I just remember that I forgot to make a point when you asked if that rock bottom added to my drive. And yes, it did, because I had a son and I had to take care of him. I wasn't going to depend on anybody else to do that for me. And so just looking at his face, knowing that I have to feed him, I have to give him the best education. I also have to be balanced to be able to love him the way I should. I knew that I needed to work. I needed to do something. I could not disappoint him, and I could not disappoint God, because one of my prayer points then was, Ya Allah, I'm not going. I don't want to I don't want to disappoint myself and then disappoint you. I know that there's so much that you've put in me that I can do, and so just be there for me. So that, yes, that was part of my drive, having that child, to knowing that I have to take care of him, I have to feed him, I have to clothe him, I have to educate him. Oh yes, you gotta wake up in the morning to do what you need to do. And so yes, coming to work and limits and all of that, I say one thing, and I think I said it earlier. Peace of mind for me is the most important thing that every single human being should strive towards attaining. Because without peace, what have you done? What have you achieved if you do not have peace of mind? Now, whatever I'm going to do, if it does not align with my values, I am not doing it. So when it comes to work, I work with a lot of food brands. I will never do alcohol. Ya Allah. I've said this, and Ya Allah, please do not test me with this. But I won't do alcohol. I won't work for a brand that somehow is, that does alcohol. There are things that I would not do if it does not align with my value. If I will go to bed and not be able to sleep, if I will go and I'm praying and I cannot face God, I'm ashamed, I'm putting my head, I'm doing sujood and I cannot ask because I know that I'm not going to do. If it's going to cost me my peace, and please, I'm saying this to anybody, young ladies out there who may also be watching this, anything that will cost you your peace of mind, that you cannot even look upon the face of Allah because you are so ashamed of what you have done, please don't do it. There's a lot of temptations right now. Aside from work and everything, social media pressure is there. And for me, it's just an opportunity to also just reiterate to, like young women and just women out there generally. And you can even be in any situation. Divorce can happen at any time and you are thrown out there and you have to fend for yourself and children. Wallahi, 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 Allah that gave you mouth will provide for you.
Yeah.
Just seek his face. It may be hard. And I can tell you that it could be very hard. But he will make a way even when you think there's no way. He will make a way. If you have faith in him and you put in the work and you give everything up for him, he would do it. He would do it. Okay. So yes, even in the face of pressure and all of that, like if there's anyone watching, young ladies, our younger sisters, because people don't say this enough. So we that are on social media, you see, so at least let me just use the opportunity because I'm sure this is going to be on social media. I don't know when I'm going to have the chance to do this, even though people say you should talk about some of this things sometimes online. But
like a whole master class. This was master class.
So please, anything you're going to do that will cost you your peace of mind, that will cost you your faith, that you want to pray, your mouth is heavy because you know what you have done. Don't do it. People will lure you. Yes, this is a female podcast where men will lure you, but ask yourself, wow, what is it going to give me that is greater than what Allah can give me?
Yeah.
Please don't do it. You're looking for some contract, some position, whatever. Don't do it.
Right. Oh
There's no barakah upon it. There's not going to be, like, you are whatever it is you think you are enjoying the benefits. If
It's
gonna
short
cost you
term, it's just
yes,
now.
it's just short term. So for me, if it does not align with my, I will sit down, sit with myself. Do I have peace doing this? Does this give me peace? If it's not going to give me peace of mind, because that peace, see, that thing that is tugging at your heart, that is telling you that don't, it's Allah's voice. For that thing that's you're questioning yourself, should you do or should you not do it? It's God speaking to you, then why do you want to go ahead? So if it doesn't align with my values, I'm not doing it. Whatever it comes with, look, it's not food, provision. Allah is the one that provides now. He will take care of us, we'll be fine.
We'll be fine. Everybody will be
inshallah.
fine at the
Yeah.
end of the day. I think this is such a great point to end on. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Jamila. It's been an amazing,
You're welcome.
amazing conversation. I hope you all enjoyed it as well. Please like, share, subscribe, share this with someone who it's useful and they will gain something from this. And until the next time, continue to enjoy life, love, and faith on your own terms. Assalamu alaikum.